Hello and welcome to this episode of Kino Thanks. If you're joining us for the first time, the Kino Thanks is a series we do on the Stacks podcast, diving through some of the worst movies or alleged worst movies of all time. And it's rare that we do a newer release. I feel like we sort of go through the vaults, go through the back catalogue.
This had such negative buzz.
Yeah, I didn't really hear anything about this movie until it just sort of came and went from the January release window, and I didn't see anything above like a 2-star from anyone I followed.
I am such a fan of the weirdo horror premise of innocuous thing kills you now, which is a storied horror staple, and that being a swimming pool. But I'm so intrigued when that goes from being schlocky, we made this so we could get it out very, very quickly, to this is a relatively prestige studio horror release that's aiming at the Insidious crowd. This is going for the Conjuring crowd, the Insidious crowd.
Exactly,
this is the I took my date to see a horror movie crowd. Yeah,
because Blumhouse have a sort of mixed reputation, really, for doing sort of bottom of the barrel stuff that kind of gets like a warm reception, and then sort of middling stuff, and then they've produced some very good movies in the past as well. Like they did Get Out and Get Out, and but yeah, we're talking about
more on the subject of self-plagiarism later.
We're talking about Night Swim from 2024, directed by Bryce McGuire. I'm going with McGuire. Produced by James Wan and his Atomic Monster production company. Yeah. Stephen,
I like their little production videos. It's fun.
I like their little logo too. I don't think I've ever really seen the Atomic Monster, or never really noticed it until Night Swim. It's just sort of been there, and
it must have been something else I watched recently. I was just like, it's that again.
Like, it's James Wan's
and I
company.
always, every time I think it's Amazon Studios, I'm like, this is Amazon Studios? I'm like, and then the tentacles come out, and I'm like, oh no, this is not Amazon Studios.
Yes, that would be much better.
This is not your daddy's Amazon Studios.
If Jeff Bezos was strangled by some sort of tentacle monster. But no, Night Swim is about a pool that makes you evil.
Maybe I don't really know. I don't really know.
There's so little
self-parody because I say this too much. There's so little film in this film.
So we should say off the top that this is based on, or like it started as a short film, and probably should have just ended as a short film. We both watched the 2014 film directed by Bryce McGuire and co-directed by Rod Blackhurst, who was not involved with the feature film.
Who clearly was the special sauce, because it went from a 2-star affair to a 1-star affair.
I feel like, he was the one who said we should make this 2 to 3 minutes long with sort of credits. And Bryce said, I'm going to make this a feature-length motion picture.
I knew it was about time when I watched the short, and I thought, even for a short, there's not much here. This is 3 minutes long.
I know.
It's like there's not enough.
It's an elongated scene at best in that short film, just taken out of any context. It's also a better scene than
anything in the movie.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I'd say so.
Which is, and it's better put together than every movie. It looks more modern. It feels more interesting. It has more atmosphere. I don't think it's good because it doesn't really amount to anything.
No.
But my take, and you should watch, if you've not seen the short film, watch the short film.
It's on YouTube. I'll put it in the description.
In terms of what goes on than anything in the movie.
Yes.
It looks better, the movie. The production design is better. There's a prop. There's actually a clever prop in it. There's this fun arrow in the background that makes you look in a location in that kind of like It Follows Halloween way of being like, there's going to be something over there, and there isn't something over there, and that's kind of fun. So there are ideas here. It looks kind of nice. It is all set at night, so therefore it's a night swim. Night Swim, the movie, is mostly set in the day.
Mostly set on baseball fields and just in familial affairs around the house.
But not in a fun Twilight way, no.
No. So
the short is cool because, even though it's not very good, so the idea is, lady swimming in the pool and then gets a scare from someone attacked by, and that someone is herself. That kind of like, at best, persona.
Yeah, very generously.
If I can be very, very generous, but the ideas of doppelgangers or whatever, there is something interesting there, and there is nothing at all like that in the movie. There is nothing as interesting as a 5 seconds. Oh, that's kind of something in the short. And my reaction to the short was, this scene would be good in a larger movie. This would be one of the better scenes in a larger movie that had a movie underpinning it. And when the premise wasn't the pool is evil, when the premise was about doppelgangers, about stuff. But my other problem with the short is it's just It Follows. It's just that scene from It Follows.
Yeah,
with
sure.
The swimming pool.
It's a scene,
which is also that scene from Cat People.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, I was trying to understand what is the sort of obsession. What's it draws us to water and swimming pools? What is it that evokes that sense of fear in swimming pools? Why do we gravitate towards them in motion pictures, in horror motion pictures specifically? I
think it's pretty lighting because it's the way that the water plays of shadow and you get these really evocative shadows on the wall. I think that is why it's effective. That's why Cat People nailed it so long ago. You've got that amazing, just like free, wonderful horror effect of it looks uncanny, it looks strange, and you evoke something supernatural and weird by just shining some light in a pool. Night Swim doesn't have any walls near the pool, and that doesn't seem like it would be like a deal breaker. It is a deal breaker,
I suppose. Yeah, having an outdoor pool is so much different in terms of atmosphere and mood than an indoor pool. I didn't really think about that at all, actually. But yeah, I think it's the sense of sort of weightless.
Bring me off my pool insights.
Absolutely, your pool points. That's why you're the pool boy of the podcast. It's the sort of. There is a vulnerability in being in a pool, I suppose. You're sort of dressed differently. You're in your bathing costume. There's a weightlessness to it. There's some sort of you're sort of exposed in a way. There is
in a way,
yeah. And the muffled sound.
There's something liberating about a pool. A pool is a social statement, and it's the only thing that almost makes sense about this movie is that idea of the social prestige of we're the family of the pool. And we're that pool family. And I've known people, I mean, we used to spend a lot of our summers out in France because we had a house out in France. My parents now live out there. They moved out there when I went to university. And we met people out there that became like friends we would hang out with. And one of the key points was they had a pool. So they were we just like, as kids, we'd go to their house and just spend the day in their pool because that is social magnetism. Now imagine if that pool was evil.
No, but is the pool evil? I don't know. Yes, the pool is evil. So
we start, Jack. Where do we start?
Start in summer 1992, and a kid drowns in a pool.
I was alive then. I don't remember there being an evil pool.
I was going to say, you could have stopped this, but I wasn't born yet, so I have no reason to be involved in this whatsoever. But yes, we start in 1992. A kid hears a mysterious noise. Their toy boat, that her brother's toy boat, is floating around in the pool, and she wants to go rescue it. She goes in, she drowns, she dies. Smash cut.
I have two important notes. One, there is the lights of the pool flash on and off, and they go dun 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 dun, and I was like, is that the Alvin and the Chipmunks theme? So I was entertained.
You know what? We're going to say yes. We're going to be the first and last podcast to ever say that Night Swim is directly evoking the musical semantics of Alvin and the Chipmunks.
I think is that the Alvin and the Chipmunks theme that goes do do. Maybe it's not Alvin the Chipmunks, it's something.
It's something. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I want it to be. I want it to be Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Someone write in. What's the theme that goes dun dun?
Someone take down the rhythmic staccato notes of the lights at the beginning of the film Night Swim and transcode it to work out what sort of television theme from the past it is relating to.
Yeah, my mind does this thing where it just transplants imagery and sound together that I experience at the same time, and now these will forever be in my head together. I had the most horrible realization with this today. So I'm reading the Zone of this is a weird digression.
Take it. We're talking about Night Swim.
I was reading the Zone of Interest, and I got to a bit about the Nuremberg trials.
Of course.
And I was recently playing the video game Power World. And
wow,
how are these things going to link?
We're segmenting from a segment. Here we go. Okay.
While listening to BBC Radio 4, because I'm approaching middle age in many, many ways. I mean,
you've mentioned three different things now. Okay.
But in terms of my habits. And there was a very, very interesting show about talking about the Nuremberg trials and how they came together and why they're different, etc. And I'd realised that what my mind has done is it's just, but I cannot now think of the Nuremberg trials without thinking of Power World. And I was reading the Zone of Interest, and this came up, and I was just the opening tutorial vista from Power World was just stuck in my head because this is how my brain works.
This Pavlovian response to playing Pal World and listening to Radio 4 at the same time.
But it's just it is a thing that my brain does. If it just transplants images onto sounds that accompany.
Well,
this was the weird Alvin and the Chipmunks thing I had.
So yeah,
these will forever be.
Next time you watch an Alvin and the Chipmunks vehicle in any regard, you'll be like, this is a lot like 2024's Night Swim, a movie I don't like.
My other note, and I make this note again later. Remember It? Remember the film It?
Oh,
a
lot of my notes
remember
are it coded. Yes, I remember It.
And so yeah, the boat. And then I thought this bit was ripping off It, and I was like, this bit's ripping off It. And then later, like, you thought that was ripping off It.
Yeah, you
which is going to put a bit of It in this movie.
A bit of it, a lot of it.
Culminates with Ju-on.
Yeah, yeah, sure. These are all apt sort of comparison points, but my God, the movie doesn't really know what it's doing.
No, what really annoyed me, so we have the Summer 1992, and
a great
then...
year.
An important year for me. And then there was no other demarcation of date, which led me to believe we were still in 1992.
The same time. That's the thing. So
the rest of the movie. So I was being like, I'm going to look for the period detail. I'm going to keep an eye out for this. I was like, this doesn't seem like... I mean, admittedly, I was 0 to 1 in 1992, so I wasn't really looking out for stuff, but I was like, this doesn't seem like 1992.
I don't remember playing a lot of baseball.
Someone says, oh, that was 15 or 16 years ago. And I'm like, one, I think you should know it was your daughter. Two,
that was any space of time ago. I don't remember the details. It didn't affect me in the slightest.
I genuinely watched back 3 times of the boom title card because I was like, I feel we've jumped in time.
Yes.
It's implying we've jumped in time, but why would you put a date stamp and then not a second date stamp? Just don't put the first date stamp. Why do you need to say it's 1992?
If your audience has to make an assumption, I don't know. It's not a great move really, because it took me a while to realize that the new family
didn't make the assumption. It's because they put. I would have made the assumption that time had passed if you hadn't put "bam" 1992 at the beginning.
Sure. That's very true. But yes, girl dies in pool. New family move to pool. Wyatt Russell, the dad of the family, is
He's not good.
Undergoing muscle therapy and wants to use the pool for that. And it's like, good. I'm sure this will not have any negative consequences in the third act of this movie.
So Wyatt Russell is, in this movie, he is I want to say ex-baseball star, but that's kind of like, that's the conflict of his current baseball star that can't baseball anymore.
Nope.
And when the realtor, I believe that's the American term, is selling them the house, and she says, I Google all my clients. And I mean, Jack and I get this a lot as big time podcasters. We're trying to buy houses, and they're like, oh, are you Jack from the Stacks? And I go, no, I'm Stephen.
Please let me put an offer down on this mansion.
Wyatt Russell, who from now on, please, so he's our ex-baseball, current baseball, fallout, whatever dude that you... there's a direct quote about him. I won't say the direct quote yet because I think from now on can be referred to him as DJ Khaled.
Yes. Why?
Because he doesn't go to third base anymore.
Okay, there we go. There's the bit. Nice. We got there. There's the bit. Setup, the pitch.
So from now on, we're referring to him as DJ Khaled.
DJ Khaled, who I've seen in a couple of movies, and he never really overly impresses me.
Pitch Perfect 3, for example.
Is he in that? Oh, of course. Sorry, I'd already forgotten the bit. My word.
My joke was that DJ Khaled is literally in the film Pitch Perfect.
Yes, I got that. I got it.
I don't know if that made it.
It translated perfectly. But yes, he's daddy. He's daddy baseball, daddy cool.
Yes.
Wants to use the pool for muscle therapy, so he can start his road to recovery, so he can return to old baseball town, USA. He starts swimming around in that pool, and he goes to his son's sort of baseball practice.
He hates his son. He legitimately hates his son.
Expand on this.
He just does. He just hates his son. He pretty much just calls him a nerd the whole film.
He's a bit of a nerd.
Doesn't want to hang out with him. Points out that his son has no friends to his wife every now and then. Goes, our son's got no friends. And there is a pivotal scene towards the end where he decides to play in the pool with someone else's son.
Yep, this is what I really wanted.
To like have an actual son moment, which is kind of funny. I enjoyed that bit. But so yeah, he hates his son. I don't know if he's met his daughter.
It doesn't seem to really. And
his wife only deal in expository dialogue or expository dialogue. So I put in my notes at one point. Now, a film would make sense. I'm not saying it'd be good if it tracked his arc of a character. If it tracked him, this idea that, as you said, that he's a failing baseballman and he's in the pool and we know the pool is evil, that's going to make him evil. If that was the film, that would make sense. Jack, does it do that?
It's a super magic pool. Maybe it sort of grants some sort of wish. Some sort of silent wishes.
But do we just stick to this clean arc of this protagonist?
No. Absolutely not. Your simple execution, your simple sort of 3-act narrative structure is bamboozled from the get-go.
It's such an inept film, which makes it hard to enjoy, even on just like, whatever, it's a dumb movie about an evil pool.
It's a January horror release about an evil pool. We got to go with the ride. But even that, I was like, this isn't even enjoyably or even knowingly. It doesn't even lean into the fact that it's a film about an evil pool. Come on, people. What are we doing here?
I spent most of the time not really knowing what was going on because it just like would cut to another character. It spends a lot of time with the family separation, but it doesn't do any work to make them people or characters.
No.
So there's no benefit for spending with it. And there are some bits where I'm like, maybe this is actually too on the nose for even this movie, that it was unnecessary. Or maybe you lean into, either you go full camp or you go on the nose. But the fact that daughter goes to school and meets a guy from the swim team, and I was like, I get it, because evil pool movie. And then because it's a nothing, I'm like, you know what? No evil pool. You know, how about he's not in the swim team? How about we just ditch that idea? And I went from being like, to I'm annoyed about this, actually.
That's a detail I hate in this evil pool.
Genuinely, I was just like, it's annoying. Just so he can come to the pool.
Yeah, and he does. Comes to the pool, they swim around, and there is a lot of time spent sort of in the pool, but not in the horror aspect of the pool. They're just sort of swimming around, and all the sound gets muffled, and there's like this really, I almost said watered down sense of dread for like the first hour of the movie. It's really quite stiff and stilted. Yeah. There's really nothing really going for it. You know something is going to go wrong or come around in some way, but you're just sort of waiting for that first initial, the pool's evil. But the pool is actually magic.
Yeah, and the pool is everywhere. So they go to buy the house, and then they get the house, and the film is so inept that they don't sell this house to you as the audience as a house worth buying. The only things we see is they turn up in the house and it seems fine, and then he has an accident but it doesn't really. They go outside, there's a defunct pool with a cover on it. He falls into the cover, has a seizure. They've bought the house, and I'm like, I wouldn't buy that house. This house looked bad.
This is a death house. This is an evil house. It's got a bad pool. It's not even a real pool yet. But they refurb that pool, they get it going, and it looks like a pretty good pool, not gonna lie.
I get he needs to fall in the pool because the pool is evil, but it would be a better film, and here's, punch up for the movie and go way through.
Sure.
If it was just generally, he looked at the pool and they had some line about being like, this would be really useful because we could use this for just like hydrotherapy, like this could be the kind of house for us. Yeah. And then it just can't be asked to even do that. It just goes, look, he fell in the pool. And you know what? Pool covers are dangerous. And that is the one danger.
Isn't there there's another horror movie about a pool cover and getting stuck under a pool cover for like 90 minutes?
Yeah,
I can't remember. Maybe. Because I got that confused with this. Going into this movie, I was like, this is the movie where two teenagers get trapped under a pool swimming cover. Someone knows what I'm talking about, but because
they are very dangerous.
You know.
And occasionally they think the solve to the evil pool is put a cover on it, and I'm like, no, that's not a solve. That's adding an extra danger. I like when she has a night swim.
Drain the swamp.
Well, yeah, at no point they're like, because the problem is that no one really engages with the idea the pool is evil. They need to have one crackpot like character that goes like, you need to have that one person.
You stay away from that pool, man. The crazy neighbour. The crazy neighbour.
You need to have the crazy neighbour that comes round and starts hanging around being like, no, that pool. And usually it's a regressive, semi-ableist, ageist trope. But it has a narrative function.
But it'd work.
It would work. It would be something in this movie that is so unbelievably nothing. I like that she suggests put a pool cover on it to like cure her night swimming addiction. She's like, I've got to put a cover on that pool or I'm going to keep going out there and swimming in it.
I bought the house for the pool. I want to swim in the pool.
The first issue.
Exactly. So she's like, I can't actually put the cover on because then my husband will fall in. And again, classic pool conundrum. So we get to the Pennywise situation of the movie, the It Chapter 2. Actually, it's Chapter 1, but yeah. More It for your Stephen King fans out there.
Yeah.
Girl swimming in pool. Voice coming from the filter drain system of the pool.
Which seems like the culprit. That seems like the evil bit.
Yeah, you'd think that would be the evil part of the evil pool. But no.
Because later there's a shower and they show that that's the evil bit of it as well. So really it's about evil drains.
It's an evil well. water everywhere.
Like
Let's all
The
have
Ring.
a drink. Exactly, yes. It's just a wet movie and everything is evil.
Which at the end, actually, spoilers for the end of this movie, they do tease an ending like. So this movie just ticks off the movies a bit. So it begins with a bit of it, and there's a bit of it again. There's a bit of Ju-on here as well, and then there's a massive Get Out section, which is just like, you made Get Out, come on.
Yeah.
In terms of like the visuals are just copied exactly from Get Out, and at the end it's just like the characters basically have a conversation going, should we do the ending of The Ring? And then someone goes, oh no, that's kind of already done. The ending of the movie. Let's not do the ending of The Ring. That's basically the conversation they have.
Do the credits. Yeah.
Would be a better movie if they did the ending of The Ring, where they're just like, should we just keep selling this house and just make people all evil again? Like, oh, Dad would want that. Well, I think Dad would want that. Dad tried to kill you all.
Swimming Pool 2. I've already forgotten the name of the movie. Night Swim 2, The Night Swim Stalker. Let's go.
You've seen The Invitation, right? And you know that cool bit at the end of The Invitation? Sorry, listeners. Where it's a fun movie because it's very, very contained, and they've got that red lantern. Then you go outside and you realise there's a red lantern in front of every house.
Yes, yeah.
If you're stealing from movies, what they should do is they should do like a massive drone shot at the end that takes
Everywhere's got a
and
pool.
you just see blinking pools everywhere.
Doing the Alvin and Chipmunks Morse code dotted.
And then it comes back saying evil pool return in night swims.
Night swimmers.
Night swam.
Night
this time it is set in 1992.
Finally, the origin story.
The past tense.
Yeah, Paul grants wishes. He's good at baseball, but it comes with a price.
Baseball.
Baseball. Yeah.
The baseball stuff is so stupid.
I mean, it's just a very cheap sort of thing to be like, man can't do thing, water makes him do thing, water now has to take something back because sold his soul to the water devil.
Every now and then someone says love demands sacrifice, and I'm like,
yeah, life is too hard for Elliot. It's better this way. He gets possessed. It's very, very
at one
corny.
point his wife says, I think maybe getting sick happened for a reason. And I'm like, what? To meet an evil Paul?
Yeah. Wow.
Because it gets worse.
Not a great marriage sort of structure there, but okay.
To conclude my point, if he hates his son,
yes,
there is
please.
a point where he's berating his son for like giving up or whatever, and he uses loads of baseball metaphors. I'm like, the one thing of your character is you literally gave up baseball. How dare you?
But he wants to get back in the game. He'll get back.
Yeah,
there is one
the Lazarus
fun...
Pool will get him back in the ball field.
There is one fun moment. Well, it's very close to the end of the movie where, spoiler alert, he's possessed and going around the house trying to kill everybody, and the TV turns on and shows old footage of him, and it goes, "Take me out to the ball game," and I'm like, that's fun. Let's do more silly, tropey, campy horror stuff in this movie.
Yeah,
we don't.
100%.
We don't. The movie doesn't have any fun with this very gimmicky premise.
It is fun when, and this is fun because the movie is bad, but when they're describing how he is magically cured again, and he just deadpans. Well, not even deadpans. He just weirdly naive just says, "We have a pool." And I'm like, yes, you do.
You
yes,
do indeed. Confirmed.
As if that's it. And I enjoyed that one line reading a lot.
Have you ever played Marco Polo in your pool history?
The first time I came across Marco Polo was in Uncharted 2.
I knew. Yeah, of
Among
course.
Thieves.
Of course. I can't even. It's probably an episode of The Simpsons. It's definitely an episode of The Simpsons.
It's very American.
It's very American. Doesn't appeal to me in the slightest. It feels dangerous. A lot of closed eyes around water and slippery surfaces. No, thank you.
It works as a horror film thing, but I feel like I've seen this scene in at least 7 horror films already.
Sure. And by that point, where the Marco Polo stuff comes into it, I'm like, no, you've lost me. You can't add this source 75 minutes into a 90-minute movie or however long this thing is. It just feels
but
like...
it's also inconsistent to do the Marco Polo thing. It like gives up that half through the scene and just does the she's underwater camera.
Yeah.
It isn't as fun as to return to he hates his kid of when the wife is like, this is before the It sequence, of the wife is just like, oh yeah, baby boy, you can go swim, but make sure dad watches you. And dad's like, I'm busy pumping iron. How about you just stay in the shallows and I'll stay here? And then he just thinks he's throwing coins from him. He thinks that his dad that stays in the shallows is just lobbing coins into the deep end. He's like, Daddy's throwing coins for me. I'm like, Daddy said stay in the shallows whilst he pumps iron.
Daddy's pumping iron, yeah. Daddy's getting buff. Got no time for your aquatic behaviour.
If they lent into, if the film was about his mental decline and him hating his son as opposed to about basically nothing,
give me
there would be something here.
Shining but a pool.
Yeah.
give me, yeah. Come on, if you're going to rip from Stephen King in some regard, why not go the whole hog and make it an evil swimming complex? They buy a leisure centre. Oops, we bought a pool. We bought a pool.
We bought a pool.
We bought a public pool, and he slowly goes mad trying to get it ready for summer, the big summer break, and ends up luring people to their death in the murky waters. Actually, copyright the stacks. This is a great idea. I'm going to produce this in the future.
So yeah, we again in this unclear narrative film where it can't really pick characters. So Son has his moment in the pool where he gets dewanned and itted. Daughter has her moment in the pool where swim team kid is like, you look cute with your hair wet or whatever because he's in the swim team. So they've done that, and then we cut to the parents being like, what should we do about this pool? But not really. It's more so the mum claims that some kid probably climbed over the fence and put hair and an arm in the pool to grab her son. That's her claim.
That's a classic neighbourhood hijinks if I've ever heard of them.
Yeah, exactly. And then the dad is just like, maybe it's because he's got no friends because he's a nerd.
Classic, absolutely dunking on this son at any given
He's
turn.
like, maybe it's because maybe he got assaulted by a ghost in the pool because he's got no friends. Like, maybe that is why. And then you can tell that someone just like was giving notes in the script, was just like, we need more reasons to get from the pool. Pool party.
Yeah.
So then we have a pool party.
Didn't your dad slip and have a seizure in this very same pool? Shush! I'm trying to enjoy my pool party.
Though I guess we did skip over the scene where he decides to join a kids' baseball team for a while, and it's like, we brought in a ringer for this game, a professional baseball player.
Well, that's the thing.
Which is,
interesting. That's how we know that the pool is magic, because he wants to get stronger and better to recover and play baseball, and he hits the biggest home run ever in a slow-mo sequence where the ball crumbles as it hits the bat, and you're like, wow, this man's very good at baseball.
You're like,
but he wasn't earlier.
Twilight.
It's like Twilight.
We don't know he wasn't earlier. I didn't see him play baseball earlier.
Well, he wasn't playing baseball. Now he is playing baseball, and he's very aggressive
much like
with it.
John Woo's Silent Night, where if you're going to tell me a person lost the ability to speak, have him speak before that point.
Yes, absolutely. Have him playing baseball. Title credits. The Space Jam highlight reel of Michael Jordan, but it's Wyatt Russell playing Little League Baseball or whatever he was playing.
Let's rewrite this movie. So DJ Khaled, it starts, we'll start the opening scene because it works, whatever, and then we should cut to embarrassing... No, not even like highlight reel. It's like a shot of the game where it's like, I'm going up to shoot his blam, and
he pulls his arm out.
He can't do it.
Yeah.
Oh, is he falling down? And then we jump back, and it's him watching that on TV.
Wow!
In the house.
Hey, now we're
where
good.
The people are moving in, and someone goes, have you checked out the pool? And then we establish, they've bought the pool house.
Welcome to the Movie
That's
Doctors, where we fix all the movie
Doctors. Fix the movie. And then I would track him and the son across the movie, and I'd keep it to them. There wouldn't be a daughter in my version of the script, and he'd be a single dad.
He'd be a single dad, no wife. Get that wife out of there.
Yeah, I don't want women in my film.
This is now produced by Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan's first Blumhouse joint.
Oh no, I don't think there's a dead wife in this. I think that he has been. This is divorced sad dad. This is divorced sad dad.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, I think so. And then there's a question your whole mind the whole film, which is, how did he get custody? And we're never going to address that.
And that's for the sequel, maybe the third
But you know what
film.
Society is like. There is a societal bias towards a certain gender in expected,
that sort of
not
dynamic,
normal but expected couples getting custody. So your brain the whole time as a viewer would be like, how do you get custody? And we would address that. That would be a thing for the viewer.
It's there to unpack, but we're not going to unpack it for you. You know, it's that elevated horror people. It's that elevated horror people keep talking about. We're bringing it to Night Swim.
We're elevating Night Swim, Sky Pool, Infinity Pool. That's already a movie.
We did it! We fixed the movie. Just watch a different movie, which
it's also not great.
I was going to say I liked it a lot more than this, but I still wouldn't call it great. But
no. So the pool party is almost a good scene because some things happen. The problem with this podcast sometimes, Jack, is we describe this film and you're like, that sounds kind of fun, because the things that we describe in this scene sound great, because one kid that he hates decides to go inside and film a pool party through a window secretly, which is one of the creepiest things.
Yeah, he's real Sammy Fableman sort of vibe.
Unbelievably weird. This is like this is Krzysztof Kieslowski's a short film about love levels of weirdness here. Being like, what are you doing here, kid?
Yeah.
So I thought it was going to go that way. It does not go that way. So he's doing that. There's a pool party. The realtor is back. That's a fun scene.
Everyone's favourite recurring character, yeah.
The realtor reveals that it's 15 years later. I'm like, sorry, what? It's not 1992?
Yeah. Someone drowned
And
in my pool.
She Columbo's way to be like, oh, one more thing about that house that you bought. I maybe should have mentioned it at the time. Paul's haunted.
Pool, evil pool. Sorry. That
Pool.
should have been the first thing I said after I showed you the master bedroom. Pool haunted.
I did like that she describes them as the alleged events in the pool when it's like, yeah, someone drowned.
Never confirmed.
There were allegations against the pool.
Yeah. The pool is
Alexander
cancelled.
Pool.
The pool is cancelled. We can't. Yeah.
Yes. We haven't proven it.
We haven't proven anything.
There are
but
serious,
I've
credible allegations about the pool.
I've seen some Twitter threads that you should probably check out.
You should see the pool's old tweets. It's like James Gunn in there.
Oh God.
It's a saltwater pool. Always be pretty
Nice. Salty.
Why is Pool Party by the Acrobats never played in this film?
Why isn't Night Swimming by REM the final credits
Okay,
song?
why didn't I think of that? That's a better joke.
The whole time I was watching the movie, I was like, you have to. You have to play it. You have to pay the licensing theme. You do that sort of juxtaposition where you end on a really sort of climactic, horrific moment, and then you cut into a nice, gentle 90s pop rock radio anthem, Night Swimming by REM. Never happened.
Yeah, but imagine if you cut to Pool Party by the Acrobats instead.
That would also be a vibe. Yeah, I agree.
Pool party. It was a cool pool party. Good song. Here is a note I'm going to read. I'm going to read directly. Only good bit in this movie is the lady who is like, don't know why a kid drowning would put people off pool time. I admire her pragmatism and pool-centric stance.
She's pro-pool, okay? She
She's
doesn't want
so
anything
pro-pool.
ruining pool time.
She mentions the good school district. It's just like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know why a kid drowning in your pool would put you on buying this great house, this great pool.
It's not haunted or anything. Come on.
Yeah. Speaking of being haunted, what happens to DJ Khaled in this scene?
Gets haunted, gets possessed, gets possessed by the pool.
A child.
The pool party monster.
He makes a new son.
Makes a new son from a neighborhood kid.
Yeah. From his baseball friend. It's the pitcher, isn't it? I don't
know. Hits him with a baseball bat though.
Because they seemed like they had a vested interest in each other. Hence why he didn't do charges for him assaulting his son in a pool and almost drowning him and leaving serious marks. And then later implied that this child was on a life support system in their house.
That's the... Wait, no. Is that not the beginning of the movie with the brother?
It was towards the end when they go to meet the mother of the lady.
Yeah, that's just not addressed really. That's not really set up.
They cut to a kid.
A different
kid,
kid,
in the pool. And he's got a breathing
apparatus. The kid at the beginning had something similar. Yeah, it's not a great movie and doesn't really telegraph these sort of plot beats very well. Yeah,
it would be great if he drowned that kid.
Hey, we're a pro kid death movie. I mean, the start of the movie, great stuff. Towards the end, I'm like, oh come on, we could use one more.
It would be pretty impressive because the dad like arrives and it's got this jolly scene being like, oh, I'm here at the pool party. He's like pretty much like a hot dog in hand being like, hey, dad's here for the pool party. Just watches his son drown. That was almost good. And whilst his real son films it from inside, I'm like, is this a thing they planned together of like a humiliation kink thing? Of he takes on fake sons and just drowns them and you film it?
That's a movie. Now that's a movie. Night Schemes.
So, I've been punching up this film.
I have, and I'm very much enjoying the punch.
I wrote
it's
a joke
better
for
than
it here.
Okay, cool.
So
I like humour. I like to laugh.
Because he gets possessed by the pool.
Yeah, obviously.
And they call him Dad throughout the film. And they resuscitate him.
Poltergeist.
That's good.
Thank you.
We named the film Poltergeist. But actually, that's a way better name than this film. So here's what should have happened. So when he gets resuscitated and he comes out, or later in the movie, just get this line in somewhere. When he gets like the black things in his eyes, show he's evil. He should someone should be like Dad, and he should say, direct quote, "There is no dad, only Paul."
No. Very good. Very good. Very good.
Wouldn't you be like, okay, 2 stars?
I would genuinely be like, hey, everyone in the world has seen Ghostbusters at some point. Come on, we got to get that in there. There is only Pool. That is like the full moon equivalent of Night Swim. If Charles Band had made this movie, it would be nothing but riffing over other sort of pool-related puns, and I would much prefer that movie.
So yeah, fall out of the pool. The pool made him assault a child. And the dad then claims the pool's the best thing that ever happened to him, and I'm like, the pool that made you assault a child is the best.
Stockholm syndrome.
Interesting. And we cut to them again, being sat in a car in the rain. I don't know why.
What is rain but a draining pool?
One of my notes.
God's pool draining.
Is the rain a pool? And we're going to recommend movies later, and it reminded me of another movie.
Okay, cool.
Where I'm going to recommend. It's not a very good movie. I'm going to recommend it.
Oh, cool, interesting.
And then it cuts to the very James Wan style, bad James Wan style. Let's investigate the evil thing. And it now seems like it becomes like a Conjuring film of let's investigate the haunted pool. I'm like, why wasn't this the plot structure from the beginning?
Why has this taken so long to get to? My word. And it hasn't been an exciting or engaging or even tense and suspenseful first hour or so. Like,
no.
It's just a bit of a slog to get through. Like, these character beats do not work whatsoever. They don't set up anything like dynamic or anything. It just sort of treads water, if not drowns.
Hey. It's like they're selecting out like opening scene ideas, just put them all in for the first hour. And they're like, this could be the opening scene. This could be the opening scene.
It's expanding what is like a 2-sentence elevator pitch into a feature-length movie, and sometimes it just doesn't work. You need to find other things to put in your movie and make it all tie together, rather than just slapping 80 minutes at the front to try and make it a movie. I don't know.
Yeah, so now it just accelerates to nonsense, but there's almost ideas of fun here, because what the film should have been of madness, running around, possessed man, water everywhere, not a dropped pool. I don't know.
Possessed DJ Khaled isn't very charismatic, isn't very fun. This needs to go full like Bruce Campbell, Evil Dead 2. This needs to get really weird with it, I think, and it just...
It's a bit like the end of Saltburn, where you talk to a person so long that she dies for no apparent reason.
Classic. Death by boredom, yeah.
Death by boredom, that also happens in Saltburn.
That's my review of Saltburn. Take that.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't bored in Saltburn, I'll say that.
I suppose.
Yeah. You know what? Put that on the poster.
Wasn't bored. 2 stars.
Bored. Too busy being incensed.
Yeah, disgusted. Wasn't bored, though.
Someone says the water will sleep again, and I'm like, is this a line from The Counselor or something? What is this?
Yeah. Once the water is woken, it has to take a life. The water gives, the water takes away.
I was like, is this Zardoz?
The gun is good, the pool is fine.
The pool is tempting, please get in. The shower is evil, or water is evil. Yeah. Now, this is where the film should really escalate. To then just be like, you've got priests with baptisms and stuff, and blessings, and there's water everywhere.
This runs deeper.
The end of Alan Wake, really. Alan Wake 1, not got to the end of Alan Wake 2.
Don't know what that means, but yeah, sure.
I did think of Alan Wake 2 a lot whilst watching this. It's because I'm playing Alan Wake 2 at the moment, probably. But
Definitely. Alvin and Chipmunks and Alan Wake.
Some of the possession scenes...
Ooh, I didn't know what...
evoke Alan Wake.
Alan Woke, right. The Wake agenda.
Guys, Alan Wake 2 is really, really good. It's really, really good. You'll hear about it in Office Hours.
Yes,
soon.
you will.
It's very, very good. So yeah, I reckon the pool is evil. There's a blood swan. It's got the cat. The cat's called Cider. Put a cover on the pool, whatever.
Drain that pool.
And they get in the pool, and it just literally copies the scene from Get Out. It does the sunken place thing with
take them all.
The light to the top. It's just, I'm like, you literally distributed that film.
You just copied and pasted your Adobe After Effects sort of template, and then export.
And fight the pool, the water shows him, blah, 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 blah. The baseball stuff doesn't come full circle at all, no point.
No.
The only thing that I'll note is it ends like a Godzilla movie.
How so? Of him walking into the pool to sacrifice.
So it ends like the first Godzilla movie of Serizawa just like doing the sacrifice to Godzilla.
Sure.
So or like any other Godzilla movie, which is actually a man in a suit walking to a pool. So it's actually it's a meta take. This is actually what the end of Godzilla is. So it ends like Godzilla.
It's the anti-Godzilla movie. Yeah, there we go. Night Swam. Yeah.
And then the lights of the pool go on as if it's the pool just like, I'm a happy, polite pool now.
Like
all I wanted was one man to die. I'm now fine. I'm like,
exactly.
Okay.
It's been fed, you know. The pool giveth, the pool taketh away.
And then they drain the pool, and I'm like, you doing that now?
First thing I would have done. First thing. Fill it with concrete. Let's turn it into a skate ramp. Come on, kids. Yeah. My nerd son is going to learn how to skate instead.
Make this the Marseille level from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Oh, please. Such a good map. Such a good
Or
level.
like School, which actually does. I mean, that would have been a better pick there, Stephen. Make it School 2 from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
School 2 is
which
very
actually
good
does
as
a
well.
level.
But that is indoor. So there we go.
Yes.
Again, comes full circle. Outdoor pool, bad.
does.
Indoor pool, good for cinema and Tony Hawk
Philadelphia's
levels.
the Philadelphia one's got some like empty spaces that they were once. Yeah.
Yeah, Philadelphia's got that little fountainy bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You know what? You know what's really good? Tony
Hawk Pro
2.
Skater. Oh man, those remakes. I'm really sad they're not doing any more of those.
Yeah, they should.
Because I was really looking forward to.
1+2 is so good.
It's really good. It's the only game I think I've bought like 3 times on different consoles. Oops. I got it on as soon as it came on Switch. I was like, I need this. I need to be able to play it on the go.
Cool.
But yeah, put Tony Hawk in Night Swim and let him do a 900 in this pool.
So yeah, that's the end of the movie. They do that thing where it's like, should we do the ending of the ring? They decide not to. Would have been cool if they did, but the ring's really good, so whatever. It sucks. It's just a bad movie.
Really,
yes,
really,
it's terrible.
really bad January release. Very relatively low budget, made so much more money in comparison because people just go to the cinema to watch garbage horror in January. So it made like triple its original budget with marketing and things. So God knows in 2 years' time, Night Swim 2 or Night Swim 0, I don't know, might be swimming into theatres near you. I really hope not. This has a very, very bad sort of score across the board from multiple outlets, and for good reason. I don't think this is.
It's not fun. It's not good.
Even
bad.
It's not even really worth checking out for the curious. I think it's really quite a slog. It's stuff you've seen elsewhere in better places, and DJ Khaled, not the most charismatic leading man. I'm going to say it.
No, all he does is not win.
All he does is swim.
Damn it!
Beat you to it, right?
There you go. Very, very good. That's a better structured podcast than the movie.
Absolutely.
We have callbacks. We have a joke that comes back at the end, and there you go. Beautiful. And what would you recommend in the stead of this? I
was trying to think like where can I really take this? I was trying to find something swimming pool based, but couldn't really land
Sexy
on
Beast.
Couldn't really. Oh, that's quite a good one actually. Damn, I should have thought about that. But I went with like just aquatic horror in general, and I'm gonna recommend Eaten Alive from 1976, directed by Tobe Hooper. This is like a swampy Louisiana alligator creature feature. Really sort of smoky, sweaty, aquatic menace. There's like early Robert Englund stuff going on in there.
Cool.
It's basically just like a disturbed local man feeding tourists to his pet alligator in very distressing ways. But I had a lot of fun watching that, and I was wishing I was watching something as fun while watching Night Swim. What are you going to recommend?
Obviously, the obvious ones are Sexy Beast because it's got a pool in it, but that's not really a pool. Maybe it's just got a pool in it. Or like Deathbed, the bed that eats, because this should be called Death Pool, the pool that eats. Those would work. I'm going to recommend the movie The Boogeyman from 1980, which is not a particularly good movie.
Okay, I haven't heard of this one.
But it's one of the video nasties, and its sequel, Revenge of the Boogeyman, I technically prefer because it's this like avant-garde, weird clip show version of the first movie, where they're mostly just driving around Hollywood doing nothing.
Sounds
it's not a film, like it's legitimately not a film. Most of it is the previous film, but it's wild. But the reason I'm recommending The Boogeyman is because they have this idea of mirrors can possess you, but they actually do some stuff with that. Of like at the end, someone accidentally catches a bit of mirror in their shoe, and that's how the demon gets. It's that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And at one point, you're looking over the sea, you'd be like, "Crap, is the sea one big mirror?" And that film doesn't do that, but it evokes a space where you're like, "Oh my god!" And this film tries that towards the end, being like, "Maybe the shower is a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Maybe those guys are water swimming pool." And it's so it does
Is this
that
glass
so badly.
of water evil because it came from the same sort of source?
I know. So The Boogeyman, a film that's not very good, does a better job of being like mirrors and finding mirrors. There's one bit when they die in a car because there's the rearview mirror.
You have sold me on this. It is 82 minutes long. It's on Shudder.
It's
I
good.
Might check this out soon.
It's not good. It's
good.
good.
1980s nonsense. That sounds. There's 4 of them. Oh, even better.
I've only seen the first 2.
Boogeyman 2, directed by the same guy. We've got Boogeyman.
Boogeyman 2 is really interesting.
We've got Return of
Boogeyman. Film.
And the 4th one is called Bloodsuckers. And I'm like, okay. Peter Cushing.
Okay.
I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued.
No Bloodsucker.
Wait, Peter Cushing is on the poster but not in the credits. Classic.
Awesome. Good.
Classic. I love...
We need a bloodsucker for this poster.
You need to look up the poster for Return of the Boogeyman right this second, because oh my god.
And what you need to do, dear listener, is continue to support and celebrate the Stacks.
Yes.
You can visit us on thestacks.co.uk to find all kinds of things, some reviews on there, some posts on there, etc., etc. And if you would be so willing, you can support us on the Stacks Patreon. That is patreon.com/thestacksonfilm on our levelled equal approach, where you can just jump in and chuck us 6 bones, 6 English bones.
Woof.
And I don't know what that is in dollars.
We've already had some nice support from people returning and some new faces too, so we really, really appreciate it. It's nice to start off 2024. Yes, we're building the Stacks Fund, so Stephen and I can build separate pools that we can host pool parties in. That is
pool.
That is the we can do some reflection and we can do some pool parties.
Yeah.
So that has been another classic episode of Kino Thanks. Thank you for joining us. For suggestions, compliments, and criticisms, thestacksonfilm@gmail.com.
Send all criticisms to DJ Khaled on X. And when he said, if you want to have any, please just tweet. If you've got any problems with the show, just tweet at DJ Khaled.
Or if you do end up watching Night Swim and don't like it, please send your reviews to DJ Khaled on any platform. Comment on his.
People start tweeting it and be like, "Why is this movie so bad? You're so bad in it. What's this whole baseball thing about?" Please tweet at DJ Khaled.
Another one. Please do it.
That's how he replies. Oh, when his notifications come through.
Another one. Oh, another one. So we'll be back with
more things about him.
Well, he is not the most sort of charismatic of characters in the public consciousness. We'll be back with more Kino Thanks soon. We have a pool of fun films to pick from.
Yes.
We basically expanded from our original idea, which was the anti-Letterboxd 250. But some of that has been just trodden about and tossed around for years and years at this point.
Watch trash.
We just want to watch some fun trash, hopefully. Sometimes we're going to watch some duds, and they're duds for a reason, and Night Swim's a dud. So you can find us everywhere that Stephen mentioned. All the things are in the description of the podcast, and we'll see you on the next episode. And as always, don't let the Night Swim.
Oh no!
All right,
don't go in the pool.
Don't go in the pool. Don't let the Shivers Beast get you.
One of our best, I think.
One of our best. Night Swimming. I can't remember the lyrics now of REM, and I'm not going to use it as the theme because we'll probably get flagged.
Pool party. It was a cool pool party.
We could have made this so much better. Anyway, next time.
One
day. Hit me
McGuire.
Up. Jason Blumhouse.
Yeah, Mr. Blumhouse.
Mr. House MD. Right, I'm ending the podcast. Good night. God bless.
Good night.